few markets. It started off with China at the end of last year, and as we are as we are trying to make sure that all technology in other parts of the world are launched very quickly in India as well. So we're very happy to present Stellest 2.0 today. With me is my colleague, Dr. Kunal, and Dr. Kunal is the Medical Services Director for Essilor. I myself, my name is Radhika Francis, and I have been heading the myopia division as the head of business for the last 4 years. So over to you, Dr. Kunal.
Thank you so much, Radhika. And yes, indeed, it's a great day and a big event for us. Just allow me to project my slides. Yeah. And I hope it's visible to everyone. So good afternoon, everyone. And today it's a big day for us because Essilor is entering into a new era of childhood myopia management with new research and technologies. I'm Dr. Kunal Shrestha. I manage the medical affairs. Now, when we talk about myopia, we all have been listening a lot about it, that we have to understand myopia and its progression. Myopia, or as we say it, nearsightedness, eye condition in which people see closer objects clearly, while distant objects appear really blurred. It is commonly caused by increase in the eye length. Now, myopia is becoming more common in younger generation across the world. And the numbers are by 2050 or maybe now 2040. 50% of the children will be having myopia. That's huge. Now, myopia earlier thought to be a refractive nuisance, but now we know it's a lifelong condition and its progression can continue into young adulthood also. It has got lots of impact on the life of children, those who have myopia. For short term, it affects the quality of life, educational outcomes, as well as personal and psychological well-being and development. But the most sinistrous thing is the long-term impact. Any level of myopia increases the risk of glaucoma, cataract, retinal detachment, myopic macular degeneration, eventually irreversible vision loss. So it is really important to note that there is no safe level of myopia. Essilor is committed to fighting myopia, and for over past 5 decades, 45 years or so, Essilor has been dedicated in improving myopia management solutions for children through continuous research and innovation, be it the earlier introduction of H.A.L.T, establishing R&D myopia task force, or even collaborating with IMI myopia white papers. But in 2020, Essilor unveiled its first generation of Essilor Stellest lenses powered by H.A.L.T technology. Now, this was Essilor's genius innovation to slow down myopia progression. Essilor Stellest lenses powered by H.A.L.T technology, they work differently. They started to create a volume of non-focus light in front of retina. And in clinical trials, they have shown to slow down myopia progression by 67% on an average when worn for more than 12 hours for an average of 2 years, and helping millions of children around the world. So the success of the first generation, it's just the starting point. Essilor will continue its effort to develop even better solutions to give children a brighter future. And today, Essilor is entering a new era of childhood myopia management with our new research and technologies. Based on our earlier clinical trials and myopia control efficacy, increases with lenslet asphericity. That's what we saw in our 2-year clinical trial, that Hall spectacle lenses slowed axial progression more effectively than Sol or slightly aspherical lenslet technology and single vision lenses over 2 years. With this discovery and various other relevant studies, our experts are able to further improve this technology. And the aim remains the same. We want to achieve improved efficacy. We are proud to unveil Stellest 2.0 lenses, which is now powered by H.A.L.T Max technology. With higher power comes higher efficacy. Now, what is H.A.L.T Max technology? With H.A.L.T Max technology, when we compare it to the H.A.L.T technology or the Essilor Stellest, and when we come to Essilor Stellest 2.0, the lenslets have increased power and asphericity. The new lenslets with H.A.L.T Max technology, they create a higher depth of volume of non-focus light, which is positioned further from the retina. So when we look at the volume of non-focus light, which is created by Essilor Stellest lenses with H.A.L.T technology, and when we compare it with Stellest 2.0 with H.A.L.T Max technology, this volume of non-focus light, this is 2 times in the depth of volume. To demonstrate the efficacy of these Essilor Stellest 2.0 lenses, we conducted a clinical trial in Singapore children, which was a 1-year study. After enrollment, the children were divided into 2 groups, and this study was divided into phase 1 and phase 2 over 6 months. And this was a contralateral crossover study. That means the children started with Stellest lenses in one eye and Essilor Stellest 2.0 lenses in the second eye. And after a period of 6 months, it was switched over to other eye. Now, this is one of the very good designs where we cancel out all the confounding factors. That means a children, how long they're wearing the lenses, how much they're doing a near work, outdoor activity, because it's the same child who is acting as their own control. And this is, for the first time, what we see is a superiority study. The study design was made to not to establish that H.A.L.T design works. It was to establish that when we have H.A.L.T Max technology, it provides further benefit to the children, those who are wearing this. This clinical trial actually demonstrated that Essilor Stellest 2.0 lenses are significantly more efficacious at slowing myopic eye growth in terms of axial length. With Essilor Stellest 2.0 lenses, eye growth in the myopic children was 1.88 times slower than with the previous generation. Not only this, when we talk about adaptation and wearing time, in phase 1, 88% of children adapted within 2 to 4 days. In phase 2, that is after 6 months with the switchover, 98% adapted within 2 to 4 days. And irrespective of phase, be it phase 1 or phase 2, 100% of children adapted within 1 week. And it has got tremendous wearing time compliance of 84% children, those who are wearing it for more than 12 hours, to say mean wearing time of the spectacle was somewhere around 13.5 hours, and there were no dropouts in the study. So with Essilor Stellest 2.0 lenses, what we have seen is eye growth in myopic children was close to half of that of the previous generation. So we see single vision lens, the impact of H.A.L.T technology, the blue arrow that you see, and the impact of H.A.L.T Max technology, which is the green arrow that you see. Not only this, in addition to this, the clinical trial, although it confirms the efficacy of Essilor Stellest 2.0 lenses in children as young as 6 years old, with no difference in visual acuity compared to the first generation. So, Essilor Stellest 2.0 lenses are efficacious in myopia management for children as young as 6 years old. There was no significant difference and distance best corrected visual acuity between Essilor Stellest lenses and Essilor Stellest 2.0 lenses, be it through the central zone of the lens or be it through the lenslet zones. So that is for you, Stellest 2.0. And to summarize, I'd like to I think there's no sound in it. Just give me 1 second. Share. Sorry for the inconvenience. To summarize, let me show you this video.
Essilor Stellest lenses with H.A.L.T technology slow down myopia progression by 67%, helping millions of children around the world. But Essilor will never stop searching for more advanced solutions. Introducing Essilor Stellest 2.0 lenses. Powered by H.A.L.T Max technology, the power and asphericity of the lenslets have been increased, creating twice the depth of volume of non-focused light, positioned further from the retina. This innovation makes the lenses significantly more efficacious in myopia management compared to the previous generation. Wearers will continue to enjoy clear, corrected vision without compromising aesthetics and safety. Plus, more frame choices thanks to the wider 75mm diameter. Twice the power, higher efficacy. Essilor Stellest 2.0 lenses. Partner with us and guide children with myopia to a brighter future.
With this, I hand it over back to Radhika for the further presentation.
So thanks, Dr. Kunal. I think the technology piece of Stellest 2.0 is quite clear. So the two words that we will continue to use today is Stellest, which stands for the generation that is already present, and Stellest 2.0, which is the new generation of Stellest. Just for the information of everybody, both these products will be available in India at the same time. With Stellest 2.0, we see a more specific kind of an audience that will probably benefit from this product, which is why we have two levels of both Stellest and Stellest 2.0. Stellest, as Kunal said, comes with the H.A.L.T technology, and Stellest 2.0 is the H.A.L.T Max technology. So the difference between the H.A.L.T Max and the H.A.L.T is the asphericity, the power of the lenslets, as well as the distance that the non-focus light is formed, which is much further away from the retina, as you saw it all in the video. So from a marketing point of view, who is eligible for a Stellest 2.0? So very simply, one is if you have a new patient, so that is somebody that is 6 years and above, who has very high myopia, has never had any history of wearing any kind of myopia management. Those are very good cases for Stellest 2.0. Any child that is progressing in spite of having some kind of current management. So we've put on this more than 0.5, but we would recommend anybody that's progressing beyond, let's say, 0.75 of 1 diopter, on even while wearing any kind of myopia control solution, is probably an eligible candidate for Stellest 2.0. We're also looking at children that are very fast progressors. So in spite of wearing any kind of solution, that they're jumping much, much faster than normal. So in the last 4-5 weeks, we have seen children with very high power, so almost -7, -8, -9s, who are progressing beyond 1 diopter. Those children are ideal for Stellest 2.0. In terms of who should be recommended which solution, whether Stellest or Stellest 2.0, we leave that to the prescriber, because the prescriber will have a better understanding of the history of the patient, the risk factors, the prescription, and all of that. Today we have two products. One is the Stellest product, which has 7 years of trials and US FDA approval. And we have the Stellest 2.0 product, which now has 1 year of trial results that we have shared with you. In terms of the products, I think one of the key questions that everybody has is that how do we distinguish between Stellest and Stellest 2.0? Very simple. You can see that between the sixth and the seventh ring, there is a marking called S2. So S2 stands for Stellest 2.0. When you get the whole lens, you will also see these planets and other markings. But since most of you will actually receive the lens when it's fully cut, you will be receiving, you can look for these markings between the sixth and the seventh ring. In the Stellest 2.0, we have one extra ring as well. So we have, instead of the 11 rings of H.A.L.T, we have the 12 rings of H.A.L.T Max, which have 1,190 lenslets. And because we also have this product in a larger diameter of 75 dia, you can also fit this for children that are older and also children that have bigger faces. So I'm just to make life simpler for everybody, we kind of magnified to show you where the S2 marking is sitting on the lens so that you can take a look at it. So it's just a matter of actually tilting the lens a little bit and looking at it in indirect reflection. So the product comes as usual in a 1.59 index. It is a WSPOS recommended material, which is polycarbonate. So Stellest 2.0 is also in a 1.59 index. It comes with its own Crizal rock coating. So it is a good product to give to children, especially children who kind of don't handle their lenses very well. So we have the Crizal rock coating for the lens. In terms of the power range, we follow the same power range as the current H.A.L.T. So we have a plano to -12 with a cylinder of up to -4. In dias of 60, 65, 70, and 75. As usual, we just require the PD and the fitting height for us to actually mark the lenses. And the delivery time for the product will be the same, 3 days, which is this for the current Stellest. We also continue with a warranty on the Stellest 2.0. So we have the free replacement if the power increases beyond 0.5 diopters in 9 months, and the 50% off on the next pair within 18 months, no question asked, for whatever reason that the parent might want to change the lens. So I can see that there are a number of questions that's coming on the chat. So we will finish our presentation and we'll answer each one of those questions. In terms of the pricing, this product is priced to the retailer at 9,100 plus tax. The CRP for the product is 18,500. As I said, it's very easily distinguished from the previous level with the S2 code, the S2 engraving. When we launch this product, the only offer that will be applicable on this product will be the Crizal Happiness offer, which is the second pair at 50% off. No other promotions will be valid on this Stellest 2.0 lens. In terms of material, so we have a full marketing package that will come. So we have the brochure, which gets into a little bit more detail of what we have presented here. We also have something known as the Stellest fact sheet. So the Stellest fact sheet summarizes all the information into a single page. We have a leaflet that you can give to the parents. We also have a published article based on which we are saying that the product can be used for children as young as 6 years old. We also have something known as the MYOPIA Times. MYOPIA Times is actually a newsletter which puts together all the information that is available on myopia control. So that will also be part of the kit. We have the KV. So this is our new KV that we will be using for Stellest 2.0. So we have one very small girl for Stellest and this new kind of quasi-teenager for the 2.0. And of course, we have a published CRP. So in terms of key takeaways, one is the Essilor Stellest by itself. It completely has become the gold standard as far as myopia control is concerned. It is the best in class today. It has the best results of 67%. And all of you, I think, are also aware now that Stellest has US FDA approval. And in the test that was done for the US FDA approval, we have actually a slowdown of myopia progression of 71%. So it is even better than the first result that is the one that we use. We have very, very strong clinical efficacy. We are also monitoring. So the way that we monitor our Stellest, whether it works or not, is to actually look at the warranties. How many people are actually returning lenses within the 9 months? How many people are returning the lenses within 18 months? And I personally, I'm the one that approves each and every return. So today I'm very happy to say that we have a 0.01% of return, which means for every 1,000 pairs, we have probably 1 pair for return, which is a very, very good percentage. And as we speak, this product has been launched in the US and therefore has become the only product in the US that is sold for myopia management. With 2.0, we now have a product that's better than 1.0. So the Stellest, the regular Stellest. So we talked about 1.88 times more slowing down of the axial length because of a volume of defocused light that is positioned further away from the retina. We also have, of course, the lens slit power that has increased, as well as the asphericity. The claim for Stellest 2.0 is very strongly in slowing down the axial length. For all of you that know axial length, it is basically the length of your diameter of the eyeball. And the more the diameter increases, the more is the chances of ocular complications later in life. So I always tell this to people who are talking about axial length for the first time. Imagine that you have a balloon that you keep blowing air into, and the balloon grows bigger and bigger, faster than it normally should. So what happens in that case is that the surface of the balloon becomes very thin. The moment the surface of the balloon becomes very thin, the chances of other complications are much, much higher. So that the choice and what all of us as practitioners need to do is to make sure that the balloon doesn't grow faster than it needs to. Right? We have Stellest 2.0 lenses that are much, much more efficacious in myopia management for children as young as 6 years old. And today we have wonderful adaptation for the product, both for the Stellest as well as the Stellest 2.0. So we continue to redefine the category. We continue to be leaders. We continue to work hard to make sure that children's myopia progression is controlled. And through all of this, to reinforce the Essilor leadership in terms of evidence-based innovation. When I say evidence-based innovation, I'm talking about the fact that the claims that are made by Essilor are backed by clinical evidence, and that is something that we are very proud of. So thank you very much. There are a number of questions. So Kunal, why don't I ask you the questions and maybe then you can answer them.
Stop sharing.
So we have a question from Sharanya. So first is, I think a lot of you have said that can we do the session in Hindi? We would love to do the session in Hindi as well. But since this is an all India call, and there are people that are there from other parts of India that do not speak Hindi, we will do a separate Hindi session later on. So there's a question from Sharanya, Kunal, which says, when should I suggest Stellest 2.0 if I have already prescribed Stellest and both the axial length and the RX are stable?
Yeah, so that's a wonderful question, and that actually establishes the credibility of Stellest franchisee, right? Stellest, the first generation, what we see, it is really efficacious. And if someone who's wearing Stellest, the first generation, as we say, and it is working perfectly, there's no need to change it. Right? It's not about that. Where does it fit in? As we have discussed in the presentation, that if someone who is diagnosed early, around 6 years of age, and is presenting with higher degree of myopia, with strong risk factors, both parents myopic. So at the beginning, maybe that is the patient where we could start with Stellest 2.0. Again, if someone knows any type of myopia progression control management and is still progressing more than 0.5 or 0.75 diopters, those will be the best suited when you want to upgrade. You can upgrade them to 2.0. So the high progressor, the fast progressor, and those who are progressing even in spite of being on myopia progression control management, those are the candidates for Stellest 2.0.
Is there a difference in cost? Yes, there is. So the current Stellest is priced post GST at 15,500. The new Stellest 2.0 will be at 18,500. We have a question from Shimoga Opticals. Can we suggest this product for 4-year-old children as well?
So now please understand, when we come from Essilor, every indication that we talk about, it is always backed by clinical evidence. Now, because in a clinical trial, which we conducted for Stellest 2.0, when we recruited children, they were from 6 years onward, 6 years to 12 years. And that is why when we talk about prescribing it to someone, it is from 6 years and above. And again, as I said, it is often at the discretion of the prescriber, right? If you see, because if we talk about the French myopia and optometry guideline, they suggest any myopia progression control management could be given to children aged from 4 years onwards to up to 20 years. But that is at your discretion. From Essilor, we will talk about what we have clinical evidence, where we have conducted clinical evidence, what is the age, and so 6 years and above.
The next question is, would this be a good lens for the children whose RX is not changing, but their axial length is still progressing?
Well, let's just say if prescription, see, myopia management is all about managing the axial length. When we talk about axial myopia, axial length is the main reason because of which you end into complication. Although it is very difficult, I would say, to see that someone's prescription is not changing, but only axial length is changing. We do see sometimes like this in pre-myopes or those who are very fast, their hyperopic reserves are going out, getting exhausted because they have very high risk and a risk of developing myopia. And as we have seen with plano lenses of Stellest, that when used in pre-myopes, it could delay the onset of myopia. So if that is the case, definitely it could be prescribed to those children.
So the next question is, what is the power of each lenslet, and is it the same across the lens?
Okay. Now let's just say we are talking about a patented technology. So I'm not at the liberty of revealing what exactly is the power of each lenslet. But what I could tell you is when we compare it to Stellest, the first generation, and Stellest 2.0, now each ring, what we see, the power has actually gone up to almost double. Each lenslet power is almost double what it was in earlier. The asphericity changes. And yes, the power and or asphericity, it does vary from innermost ring to outermost ring to create the volume of non-focus light, which is now 2 times what we get with the Stellest first generation. And this also takes the shape of the myopic eye or the myopic retina.
What mm is the treatment zone? So let me answer that. So the treatment zone mm remains the same. It still stays at 9 mm. And of course, between the rings, you have the single vision power of the child. Age of the children, we have already talked about. There's a question, I think, on the warranty, whether the change will be done if it is a 0.5 dia in SIL as well. To which my answer is that yes, we will. But if you have a child whose spherical remains steady and the cylinder is jumping very, very fast, then that child has something known as keratoconus. And if you are an optician, or if you definitely are an optometrist, you already know this, please ensure that the child goes to a doctor. We have seen a few instances where we have children whose spherical power has jumped beyond 1 or 2 diopters within the first 6 or 8 months. That means the child does not have axial-led myopia, and there is some other issue, and the child needs to consult with the doctor. So again, to explain the warranty says that if within the first 9 months of wearing the lens, if the power changes beyond 0.5 diopter, the lens is replaced absolutely free of cost. Within 18 months of buying the lens, if for whatever reason the parent wants to change the lens, whether the child has lost the frame and the lens, or for some reason broken the frame, or there is some kind of a scratch or something with the product, Essilor will replace the second pair at 50%, which means I used my product for, let's say, 12 months. and I want to change, the next product that I buy, I can get that at 50%. Will Stellest regular discontinue? Absolutely not. Stellest remains the gold standard as far as myopia is concerned. Myopia progression is concerned. If you have a child that is not progressing very, very fast, and the progression is caught at a later age, 13, 14, 15 years old, for them, Stellest 1.0 still remains a good product. Stellest 2.0 is very, very effective, as we said, for children that are young, that have very high myopia, or children that have won a myopia control solution but are still progressing faster than what is normal, or children that have come to you as fast progressors. Fast progressor definition is somebody who has jumped beyond 1 diopter in a single year. There is somebody who wants to know about H.A.L.T Max technology.
I think we have discussed it, but once again, H.A.L.T Max is about increasing the power and asphericity of each lenslet as compared to the Stellest, Essilor Stellest, or as we know it now, the previous generation. And because of which, how the power has changed, how the asphericity is changed, and how their orientation inside the lens has changed. Because of which, the volume of non-focus light, which now gets formed, its depth is almost 2 times as compared to Essilor Stellest lenses. It also takes the shape of retina, and it is slightly further away from the retina, which sends us even stronger signal when it comes to controlling the myopia progression and axial myopia in these children.
So, somebody has asked, there are 2 products in Stellest. One of them is Stellest, the other one is Stellest with Sun Protect, which is the Stellest with tint. So we would suggest that if you have a parent that would like to invest in both the solutions, then both are good. Otherwise, the clear solution always is the better solution, because that's what the child will wear for the full 12 hours a day.
So there's one question in terms of axial progression, any proposed threshold for annual increase to decide between Essilor Stellest, the previous generation, and the 2.0. Now, let's just say when we are talking about this, we have to know why exactly we are giving these lenses. These lenses are being provided to the children to slow down their myopia progression. If anyone who has already been on, let's say, any type of myopia progression control, and still we see, in spite of having these, they're progressing more than 0.5 diopters or more. That means whatever the management they still have is not working so well, and they need something even more efficacious. That is definitely a case where you should go for Stellest 2.0. Again, when we see someone who is a very fast progression, more than 1 diopter is what we are looking at, and they have not been on any myopia progression control management. Now, this type of very fast progression and their younger age, you do understand that even when we are looking at, we need to provide them something which is really efficacious so that we can protect the eyes of these child, and that becomes actually a very good candidate for Essilor Stellest 2.0. Someone whom you have seen, now we are not even looking at the progression, but someone you are seeing for the first time at 6 years of age and comes with a, let's say, power of minus 3.5 or minus 4, minus 4.5. Now you know exactly that they have, because myopia, and they must have developed it not very early. Now you know that they are progressing even in 2 years of myopia, 1.5 years, they have progressed up to minus 3.5 or minus 4. And then you also look at the parents. If both the parents are myopic, they already have myopia or high myopia. Those are very strong risk factors. They have very history, or the overall behavior is like lots of near work, less of outdoor activity, all these high risk factors, then definitely at your discretion, you can give them Stellest 2.0 lenses.
So there's a question here whether there are comparative studies and results for the different designs that are available in the market. Yes, there are. So I think Ram Kumar DSV, if you can just send in your email address or connect with your closest Essilor salesperson, we can give you this study. This was done in Arvind Eye Hospital across the 3 or 4 products that are available for myopia, and there is a significantly better outcome for Stellest when compared to the other 2 products. Is the product available in plus power? No, it isn't. We start with plano and go up to -12, resultant power of -12. High-Geo is transitions available in 2.0? Not yet. So we are still waiting for the test to get over on 2.0 transitions for it to get launched. Can Stellest 2.0 be prescribed to a 16 to a 20-year-old? As we said, it's up to the discretion of the practitioner. We have results from 6 to 16 for H.A.L.T, because 8 to 13 was the first set of children that we did the studies on. But those children continue to be in the study, and they've finished 7 years now, which means the 13-year-olds are now 20-year-olds. And they are seeing benefit of wearing Stellest. So totally leave it up to the practitioner. If you do have a client that is 19, 20 years old, still progressing, still has huge risk, definitely can be benefit from wearing a Stellest. Suleiman, to your question, whether it can be prescribed to a child who's 15 years old, whose power keeps increasing, yes, it can be prescribed. Can we prescribe this in astigmatism only? I would have a word of caution here, because if the child only has astigmatism, please rule out any other cause for the astigmatism or for the myopia progression before deciding to prescribe Stellest. So in case there is some other modality, some pathological myopia or some other kind of myopia, rule that out before suggesting Stellest.
And just to add to that, Stellest or Stellest 2.0 are not the lenses for the management of astigmatism. Why would you want to prescribe it? Because astigmatism itself could, because of the similar kind of pathophysiology, can increase axial length or behave like how myopia defocus works, the hyperopic defocus, and because of which the axial length could increase. So anyone who has astigmatism has a very high chances of increase in the axial length, and that is where you can decide to use it, but not for the management of astigmatism. In fact, in the pre-myopia studies, we have used plano lenses with those who have around 0.75 or 1 point of astigmatism, and where we have seen that it could delay the onset of myopia in these children, those who still have no power but in spherical, but having some astigmatism.
So the question, does it work equally well for high myopia and low myopia? So I think the question that is not high myopia or low myopia, but I think more in terms of how old is the child when the myopia is detected. So let me give a simple example. If you have, let's say, a 6-year-old with a -2 versus a 14-year-old with a -2, the person that I would be more worried about would be the 6-year-old, because the 6-year-old has almost another 10 years of growing. And so that -2 can really jump very, very high. But let's say you have a 13-year-old who's already at -6 or -7. Then yes, then there is something that needs to be done to slow the progression down. Because I think all of us, as we know, once the power goes beyond -6, the chances of having ocular pathologies are much, much higher. Also, the outcome of doing a LASIK after a -6 is not that great. So as much as we can slow down the progression, better. If you have an older child that is progressing very fast, you definitely have Stellest 2.0 as an option. If you have an older child that is kind of steady, then a regular Stellest would be a better option.
I think in this one thing also that everyone has to understand, the earlier you diagnose that it's a progressive myopia, and the earlier you dispense them on these lenses, that is the best strategy that could be utilized.
Okay, so I have a question. If the child has spherical and cylinder both, after a year the spherical remains the same, but the cylinder got increased by more than 0.75, then is the warranty applicable? Yes, it is. The warranty is applicable. But if the cylinder has changed by 0.75, please investigate, right? because there might be something else that has cropped up in the myopia journey of the child, and it's important to find out what that issue is. Will Stellest 2.0 control progressive astigmatism? No. All myopia control lenses work on axial myopia. And axial myopia is all about trying to control the spherical, not the cylinder. If the child has cylinder, how can Stellest 2.0 help for them? If a child has cylinder, please check what is the cost for the cylinder. As I've said before, and I'm repeating myself, all myopia control lenses work on spherical power. Yes, there are children that have spherocylinder, and of course it will try and control it. But if a child has a pure cylinder, please investigate for something else that might be happening in the child's vision. How much myopia progression compared with regular single vision lenses? So you H.A.L.T or Stellest regular is 67% better in terms of slowing down myopia progression when compared to single vision lenses. Stellest 2.0 is 1.88 times better than Stellest, right? So since I say 1.88 times, I can't go over 100%. So that is why we say, while Stellest controls at 67%, Stellest 2.0 is able to slow down axial elongations 1.88 times more than regular Stellest. Why can't Essilor make in higher powers? So yes, that's a very good question. Today we have been validated for powers up to -12. And I think, as both Kunal and I have said this, Essilor has a very, very strong process of validation before anything is released into the market. So whether it is our technology, whether it is our trial, whether it is our power range, whether it is the material, all of these need to be validated before they are released, which is why right now we are only validated up to -12, and that is what we have released in the market. For also some of you that have said, why are other products cheaper than us? I can't comment too much about the cheaper products, but you must always look at the efficiency and the efficacy of a product. So I always say this, that if there is a parent that has come to you and you have talked about Stellest, and you feel that the parent has probably going out and shopping somewhere else to look for a cheaper product, always leave them with these 3 questions in their mind. Number 1, what is the technology of the product? What is the technology that is helping the slowdown of myopia progression? In the case of Stellest, it is H.A.L.T. What is the percentage promise, or what is the promise that you're giving to the parent? The promise that you're giving in the case of Stellest is a 67% slowdown in myopia progression in the case of Stellest, and 1.88 times slowdown of axial elongation versus Stellest. So that is the promise that we're giving. And on what basis am I making this promise? And this is the most important. I can just pull out a number from a hat and just say that, my product slows down 100%, but that's not how ethical companies work. We need to make sure that there are trial results that back the claim that we make. So when we make the claim of 67%, or when we make the claim of 1.88 times slowing down of progression, it is based on a clinical trial result. So with the regular Stellest, it is now 6 years of clinical trials plus US FDA. With Stellest 2.0, it is 1 year of clinical results. If RX is 3 spherical and within 18 months lens got scratched and power also increased with 0.25 diopter, you will replace with the new RX at 50%. Is it suitable for sports and long screen use? So if the child is into regular sport, when I say regular sport, that means that they're not playing at like a high level of sport. They're not playing for international or national level. All children should be perfectly fine. If you have a child that is very, very sensitive in the periphery, then for those children, we would recommend wearing orthokeratology, because that means that child requires a lot of work through the periphery, and that would probably be better handled through orthokeratology. What is the age for Stellest? As we said, you can start off from 6 years of age. We have doctors that have prescribed the product even to babies when they've seen very high myopia. We also have adults, young adults, 23, 24-year-olds that are wearing Stellest. It is up to the discretion of the practitioner based on the history of the patient, based on the risk factors of the patient. So we keep getting asked about the power of the lenslets. So we are not able to reveal the power of the lenslets because that is the patent of the lens. But what we can tell you is that every ring has a different power, and this power increases as you go out of the main ring. As we know, there are age limitations for prescribing myopia control lenses, but if a patient continues to show myopia progressive myopic changes beyond the recommended age range, can myopia control lenses be prescribed? Yes, it can be. How effective it is, we don't really know, because as I said, our studies today are restricted to children that started off with when they were the 13 years old. The 13-year-olds have now become 20 years old. And if they are progressing, then today we can very effectively say that Stellest works best for children that are between the ages of 6 and 16, but it depends on the practitioner and what kind of progression are you seeing. Can patients with high myopic power use Stellest? Of course they can, but it is limited with the power range. So we have only plano to -12 with the resultant of -12. So as long as it fits into the young man has -4 cylinder. Is Stellest work better than other products? If a child has only a -4 cylinder, then there is probably something else that is going on. It is better to investigate. Myopia control lenses, spectacle lenses might not be the answer for this child. Why are we asking, specifically allowing polycarbonate? So Essilor has to have, especially products for children, has to be approved by the World Society of Pediatric Ophthalmologists, and the WSPOS has only recommended 1.59 for children, which is why the product from Essilor is a 1.59 index. When a patient has 0.5 diopter difference in spherical, does it come into replacement? So if the power change is beyond 0.5 diopters, then it will come into replacement. If the child is only changed at 0.5 in 1 year, and there is no other change, you can safely stay in the same power. Is there a rebound increase? No, doctor. So we have studies that very clearly say that one of the benefits of wearing myopia control spectacle lenses is that there is little to no rebound when you stop using the product. How do we know when to stop Stellest and switch to regular lenses? So the guideline that has been given to us is that if the child has been stable for up to 2 years, post their puberty changes, then you can switch the child from Stellest to regular single vision lenses. We all know that when a child enters puberty, there is an extraordinary period of growth, in which case the myopia might still continue to progress for that child. What are the clinical benefits and limitations of Essilor lenses?
I think we have discussed a lot about the clinical benefits, right? We have seen the previous generation with 67%. We have seen now the 7-year results are out, so that even the kids, those who are 20 years of age, were progressing, and still we have seen benefits in these young adults, where SLR Stellest first gen has shown that it could slow down the progression. We have seen in the study that when we talk about SLR Stellest 2.0, it slows down the progression 1.88 times better than the previous generation. So definitely these are all the benefits. When let's say talk about limitations, right? So limitation wise, let's see, I have to think about it. First thing, these are the spectacles, right? So one has to wear the spectacles, one has to wear it correctly so that it is well centered, so that they have a good clear vision. When you are talking in terms of the visual quality actually remains same as a single vision lens as long as you are looking at the central clearing. Even if your central gauge, even your peripheral vision is same as single vision lenses. If you are looking at a peripheral gauge directly through the lens slit, then also your quality of vision does not get hampered too much. It's hardly 0.05 logmar, that hardly one line below what you can get. So yes, these are some of the limitations that you have to wear them. You have to wear them correctly, and it has got good efficacy. At least that is what we see in Indian real world studies. Those are coming out. It has even the Essilor Stellest, the previous generation. It has been established in the hierarchy as the one of the best option that is available for managing myopia progression control in terms of spectacle lenses.
So we have a question which says that if, let's say, the child was already wearing some kind of myopia control, and even if the child was wearing Stellest and they still increased by minus 1.25, why would that happen? So simple, there are, I think, two simple things, and maybe Kunal, you can add to this. One is probably the child has entered into a fast period of growth. When I say fast period of growth, which means that height-wise the child has grown. If the child has grown height-wise, that probably means that all the internal organs of the child has also grown much faster than usual. In which case, the myopia control lens might not have slowed down the myopia progression. I think one thing is very, very important, and I'm sure all of you follow this. Stellest cannot stop myopia progression. Okay, Stellest can only slow down myopia progression. Even then, when you have children and you have myopia increase, we do something known as myopia management. Myopia management is a practice where you know that this child's myopia will increase over a period of time, and your job, along with the parent and the child, is to make sure that you try and slow this process down. I'm repeating myself, Stellest cannot stop myopia progression. No lens can stop myopia progression. Myopia progression is a natural instinct that the body has when you grow. There are some children whose myopia progresses much faster than usual. In this journey, we are all together trying to slow down the myopia progression. So you have children that are stable, you have some children that have even decreased, but you also have children that have increased. So this is something when you counsel the parent, you also have to emphasize and make sure that the parent understands that it is not like you wear a myopia control lens for once, and then from then onwards, no myopia progression will ever happen. It's a journey that we all take together, which is monitored very, very carefully. I hope all of you are doing proper measurements to make sure that you have documentation to show the parent how the myopia progression lens is working. If the patient has right eye myopia and left eye plano, what do we suggest? We do suggest that in both eyes, the child wears Stellest. So we do have Stellest in plano powers. And in fact, we have some hospitals now in India. If they find that there are two children in the family, one child has progression, the other child might not have any kind of power in their eyes, but are simply at high risk because one sibling already has progressive myopia, we have hospitals that are prescribing plano Stellest in that case. So for your question, Mubin, if you have right eye myopia, left eye plano, you can still prescribe Stellest in both eyes. What if the power is decreased? That's wonderful. But as I said, of course, it will come into warranty even if the power is decreased. But keep a close watch on the child to make sure that you are following up in terms of the RX. One thing that all of you must emphasize to your parents is the fact that there is the importance of follow-up in myopia. So a lot of parents consider this to be just a refractive error. I've worn a spectacle, power is not changed within 1 year. I don't need to go back to my optometrist, to my doctor. Not correct, right? You have to emphasize on the fact that the child has to come back every 6 months. And in the case of a fast progressor, the child has to come back every 3 months so that you can monitor the myopia. So Stellest can be given up to a SIL of -4. So that's the power range of the product. Suleiman has said, a patient of mine, 16 years old, was very uncomfortable wearing Stellest lenses, complained of a disturbed line during viewing. When I changed it to normal lenses, she was very comfortable. What could be the reason? So I think for us, one, it's very rare to have a child that's complained, but there are children that are very, very sensitive. In those cases, what we do recommend, one is to make sure that your PD marking is absolutely right, and I'm sure, Suleiman, yours is right. The other is the choice of the frame itself. So a lot of times you have parents that kind of buy bigger frames for the simple reason that, they want as the child grows, they don't have to change the frame. But that doesn't work for a myopia control product. For a myopia control product, the frame has to be the correct size for the child. Oval in shape, round in shape. The shape that I'm wearing is the best. Squares, rectangles, not advised. In spite of this, you may have children that are very, very sensitive. And that's where, Suleiman, like what you have done is to change her back to a single vision lens. Might work for that child, but know this, that if you have changed her to a single vision lens, that will not slow her myopia progression down. She will continue to progress. You can attempt it again with a different frame and see if that will work for you. What is the difference between Stellest, MyoSmart, and other myopia control lenses? So it's basically I suppose, the design of the lens. So MyoSmart is based on what is known as the defocus principle, whereas Essilor is the latest generation as far as myopia control is concerned, and we are based on aspheric lenslets. And the Essilor product today, the Stellest product, is best in class at 67% slowdown. What measurements need to be ordered? Very simple. You just need to take the PD and the fitting height. Once both of these are done and the lens is marked, Stellest lenses are very, very easy to fit.
And of course, the refraction.
And of course, the refraction, yes. So what kind of frames to choose? As I said, please don't choose very small frames. Don't choose rectangular frames, square frames. Try and make sure that you have round oval frames. Those are the best way to actually get the Stellest, the lensless in. I'm very surprised I didn't get one question, which is, should we fit all the 12 rings into the spectacle frame? No, not required. Please make sure that the frame fits the child's face. As long as the frame fits the child's face, whatever number of rings are there in the lens, it will do the job it needs to do. It will slow down myopia progression. Yeah. So thank you very much. We have reached the end of the session. We will be now coming and meeting a lot of you face to face to explain a little bit more about the technology or any other questions that you might have. We will also, as advised by some of you, do this session again in Hindi. Thank you so much for your time. We are open to taking orders. In fact, we already have a number of orders in the pipeline because I think a lot of people already knew the product was going to get launched. So our customer service are eagerly waiting to take orders from you. Albert, do you have any evidence that H.A.L.T Max technology is better than DIMS? As we said, H.A.L.T Max was a superiority study for Stellest 2.0 versus Stellest. So Stellest 2.0 is superior to Stellest, and Stellest itself was superior to everything else that was available in the market. And Albert, if you want some specific input, we have a study from Arvind Eye Hospital that compares the three products that are available in the market. Happy to share that with you. Whether atropine drops in myopia lenses are similar. So atropine by itself is 0.01%. It has significantly slower effect on myopia progression. But if you combine an atropine 0.01 with a Stellest kind of a solution, you will of course get a very, very good result. How much time do we take to deliver? Well, we take 3 working days. If you're in the metro, if you're a non-metro, then probably we'll take a day or 2 extra to deliver. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you very much for the time that is spent with us. we look forward to Stellest 2.0.
Yeah, thank you everyone. And we will be talking much more about it as we promised we'll conduct one in Hindi. You could also join our site inside monthly webinars that keeps on happening, where definitely we'll take your question. We'll keep making us available in person or through digital media so that we could, if there are any questions, we could answer that. And definitely you should feel comfortable when you're prescribing these, when you're dispensing these lenses, and definitely get into experiencing it, and you will see why it is more beneficial. So thank you everyone.
And if you have any questions that did not get answered in this session, please feel free to write to Radhika, Radhika, at essilor.india.com. So my email address is very simple. It's just radhika@essilor.india.com. If you have questions that was still not answered, please feel free to send an email to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day ahead.